Tecmo. Yeah, when most people think of Tecmo, it's usually the Ninja Gaiden or Dead or Alive games. Nowadays, Tecmo is merged with Koei, and now known as Koei Tecmo. There is a franchise that's under most people's radars from Tecmo. It's not the Dynasty Warrior games, it's not the Fatal Frame franchise, and of course it's not the Neo games. No, this is the Deception franchise from the original PlayStation. The Deception games are basically trap simulator games that takes place in the medieval times. Your role for the most part will be stopping invaders to gain entry into your domain. The first game is Tecmo's Deception, Invitation to Darkness, also known as The Devil's Deception. This game will be the first and only game that takes place in first-person view. You take the role of a nameless prince, you can name him whatever, and you're framed for killing your father, the king. Your punishment is to be executed. But in your last dying cries, your fate is intertwined. You're summoned to the Castle of the Damned. You're greeted by Astarte, and she tells you about the castle. You will have invaders in the castle, and it's up to you to set traps. You have the choice to either kill them or spare them. This will affect the story if they survive or not. For the most part, the gameplay is simple and addicting. I love using the pits to make invaders fall. However, sometimes most invaders are not dumb, and they will invade certain traps. In case your trap fails, you could always go back to the Force Crystal and set up more traps, just as long as you have enough MP. Ah yes, this game has RPG elements. You level up your experience depending on how you punish your invaders. I try not to kill them because you gain MP if you capture their souls. Now, if you do kill them, you do gain gold to buy items. You also have these masks to lure or scare invaders. This game is heavy on story, however the gameplay is very simple. Everything is broken down in chapters. You get an intro to set up which invaders you're going to deal with. You could check their stats before setting up traps if you want. Sometimes there's backup invaders, and after that you get a cutscene to end the chapter, following your trap results. There's many kind of traps. There's the capture type, the killing type, the confusing type, and the list goes on. That's the beauty of this game. You can get creative on how you punish these invaders. But yeah, that's Tecmo's Deception for the PlayStation. The next game is Kagero, Deception 2. This game will be the first in the series to make big changes affecting the franchise. A few of the changes is playing the game in third-person view. The button layouts to activate the traps are more easy to map out as well. You set up traps on the go per room. And I'll explain. The triangle button will be traps activated from the ceiling. The square buttons will be traps located on the wall. And the X button will be traps on the floor. And if you think about the button layout, it's actually the locations of the traps if someone was facing them. Top, front, and bottom, triangle, square, and X respectively. The circle button is to set up your traps for each room you're in. This game will encourage you to set up combos, and check out those camera angles. As far as the story of Kagero, you take the role of a girl named Millennia. You could change her name, but her default name is Millennia. She was kidnapped as a kid, but was raised by the Time Noids. The Time Noids, or TMD, as they are called in the game, are immortals with pale blue skin. Yoko will be your guide on what's going on in the game. She will introduce the blue loon that is in the game to heal you if you get hurt, but you can only use it once per chapter. She will tell you about the environmental traps that you could use to weaken your invaders. Depending if the invader is killed or not, she will inform you of the outcome. So you will get different dialogue in every chapter. For example, if the invader in the first chapter escapes, Yoko will inform Millennia that she is in great danger now that someone knows that this place exists. However, if you kill the invader, Yoko will celebrate your kills. Millennia, on the other hand, doesn't speak much. She usually nods her head or have a few dialogue options in the game. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Kagero 2. Very fun game. The last game is Deception 3, Dark Delusion. This will be the first game to have different modes, which includes story mode, trap license, which is a practice mode to test out the traps from simple to advanced combos. Free training, which is similar to Trap License, but you're just testing out the individual traps with all the maps. And expert mode. This is a challenging mode that has 100 missions. Good luck. So as far as story goes, you play as Reina. Once again, you have the option to change her name, but her default name is Reina. She and her family are kidnapped and taken to this kingdom for slavery. However, her family is killed, and one night she was given a gem from this kid, and this triggered her trap powers. She escaped from the kingdom, and her persecutors are not only after her, but the secrets to her powers as well. Gameplay wise, this game is very fun. You get rewarded art, which is the money in this game. You use art to develop new traps. You could create combinations of traps that could do a loop combo. Check this one out. I have a Thor hammer on the ceiling, a Volt javelin on the wall, and a vacuum floor. Now let's see how this goes. Bang! Got her ass! Okay, one more. Vacuum floor, mega buzz saw from the ceiling, and chain needles on the wall. That was good. This game has environmental traps that you could use too. I'll give you an example. I'm gonna put this springboard on the floor right next to the Iron Maiden. Ooh! Look at that! This game is heavy in story, and I really like that a lot. Also, I have to say that the graphics looks really good for a PlayStation 1 game. Like the character's facial features, they look really good. But yeah, that's the Section 3, Dark Delusion. Alright, so out of the 3 games on the PlayStation, which one do I like the best? They're all really good games. But if I have to pick one, it's neck to neck with Kagero, the Section 2, and the Section 3, Dark Delusion. This is a tough one. The story branching in both games are really interesting. But I feel like Deception 3 would be slightly my favorite. The Deception series are still holding up strong to this day. The franchise has crossovers with other Koei Tecmo games like Dead or Alive, Warriors All-Star, and Fatal Frame. Speaking of Fatal Frame, the head director was involved with both the Fatal Frame and Deception franchises. Makoto Shibata. He started his career with the first Deception game, but later became director for all the Deception and Fatal Frame games. He was also the original director for Neo, and that's pretty cool. The Deception series would later spawn more sequels like Trap for the PS2, and Deception 4, which has 2 versions, Blood Ties and Nightmare Princess, which is an expansion version of Deception 4. But yeah, that's the Deception series. I look forward to more Deception games in the future. These games could be dark and silly at the same time, and it made me appreciate Koei Tecmo's games even more. That's all I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. By the way, I now have a TikTok, so feel free to check out my content there as well. Check out the socials too. Like, comment, subscribe, and I am out. Peace.